from UConn has proposed housing changes are canceled.
Yeah, housing changes for students there. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Olivia Schuler is now live from the campus and stores. And Olivia, we just got an official response from the university. What's going on here?
Wendell, good morning. Really just 2 minutes ago, I did get an official statement from UConn officials. And as you mentioned, they said they are going to reverse the decision that they had made a couple days ago that went out to students. Originally, UConn officials told us, and they told students, that they were going to stop allowing people to have access to housing after 8 semesters, which means seniors would be in jeopardy of getting housing their full 4 years. Now the university says they are reversing that and changing it to ensure that students will get housing all 8 semesters, which means seniors will be guaranteed that housing. Now, these officials with UConn tell us that they are very grateful and happy that students voice their concerns, and they want to listen to them and do everything that they can to make sure students are happy at the UConn campus. Now, we originally told you there was a protest that was scheduled for 1 o'clock later today, where students were going to hold the university accountable for these last-minute changes. We do not know whether or not that has been canceled. Those are some details we're working to find out with students. Now, that is the very latest of the story that we are following. And if we have any new information in regards to that protest happening later today, you will be the first to know. Now, the university says that they will be giving housing updates in the next couple of weeks to students. We're live this morning in stores. Olivia Schuler, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right.